Good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School, and I want to say hello to everybody from reporting to you from Medellin, Colombia, right now. And anyway, I hope you're doing well. And if you're black and you're proud, say it loud, say something in the chat. Let me know how black you are today. If you're feeling black, super black, extra black, bliggity black, let me know. There's nothing wrong with that. Ain't no shame in that game. I'll tell you, it's good to be black. Some people, oh shoot, dang it. Some people think that being black is a liability. I happen to think that being black is a superpower. And so if you want to flex your superpower, then please do so. What's going on, Marco Blackwell and Steve Williams and Michelle Ruffin and George Jackson? How are you? Wakanda forever. That's funny. Hey, the Canon Movement. How are you? Hey, Neo God. How you doing? All right. So let me, first of all, ask you guys if you could feel free to shout out your city. Number one, shout out your city or the name of your business or both, whatever it is you want to do. And because I like to hear about black people that are making moves, that are doing things for your family, that are putting your family members in a better position for the future. That's what it's all about. And I'll jump into the topic also. And also, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so, please hit the thumbs up button. All right, so Juanita's from Philadelphia. I see Carne's from Australia. I see we got Tacoma, Washington. Is that an ATL in the building? That's what's going on. All right, so let me also say hello to everybody on the Black Financial Channel. Our Black Financial Channel is at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. And I see Oklahoma, Long Beach, Winter Haven, Florida, Jerry Morris from New Orleans, Herb from McKinney, Texas. Good to see you. I see Jonathan with ATL in the house. All right, good to see you. Good to see everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. All right, so let me hop into the topic I wanted to discuss today. I don't know if anybody else in here besides me follows college football. If you follow college football at all, let me know if you are a college football fan. Give me a yes or no if that's something that is big on your agenda. Have you followed? Did you see when my Ohio State Buckeyes got beat when they shouldn't have got beat? They actually had the best team on the field, I believe, but then again, if you're the best team, then you would have won. But anyway, so my heart was broken as I was watching my Buckeyes play. Now, before that game, there were two semifinal games this weekend. And in one of the semifinal games, it was very close. It was suspenseful. It was a nail biter. The other game was pretty much a massacre. I mean, it was pretty much a massacre. And this was the first game, the game that happened before the big game. The big game was my game with my Buckeyes. That's where I got my PhD, Ohio State University, or the Ohio State University. That's what we're supposed to say. And now in the previous game before the big game, LSU literally beat the living shit out of Oklahoma. I don't know if you saw this, but the Emmett says cheese for your wine party. Hey, I'm gonna be whining all week, man, because I thought we had the best team in history actually this year, so they shouldn't have lost that game. But it's life. That's how things go. And anyway, so in this game, LSU absolutely torched and destroyed this other team, Oklahoma, and they got this great quarterback. But they also, remember, for every great quarterback, you need some great wide receivers to catch the ball for that quarterback. And the quarterback's name was Joe Burrow. He happens to be a white guy, and his wide receivers, from what I saw, were mostly black. In fact, if you looked on the sideline and you saw most of the players on the team, they were actually making things happen. They were mostly black. If you look at, who the playmakers are in college football, do they tend to be white or they tend to be black? What do you think? I mean, sure, they'll give the white boy the Heisman because they like to have their heroes. We got to give them their heroes. We got to have a little affirmative action program for everybody else because we dominate so well. But, white or black, what do you say? Who tends to be the most dominant athletes in college sports? The brothers or somebody else? Let me know what you think. Give me a response to that question. All right. So yeah, Audrey has it right. She says black. Absolutely. Andre, not Audrey. My bad. Okay. So here's the deal. So LSU goes and they destroy this other team and break them down on national TV and kick their ass. And they're going into the championship, and it looks like they're going to win. It looks like they're going to continue the dominance over Clemson. But then again, maybe it'll be a good game. Who knows? But I read today, I open up USA Today or something, and they mention that the coaching staff for LSU, because of their outstanding performance, is going to receive a bonus of about $1.4 million. They're going to receive about a total of $1.4 million in bonuses for their performance. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read some of this article to you. While I do that, first of all, I want to do a sound check real quick. Give me a yes or no if you can hear me and you can see me okay. If you can hear me and see me, give me a yes or no if you can hear me and you can see me. If you can't hear me and see me, you're not gonna say anything. But if you can't hear me and see me, just put a yes in the chat so I know that I'm coming through okay. Okay, Charles, how you doing? Good to see you, Charles. I see Melis and Neo God. Okay, Bird, thank you very much. Okay, we're good. All right. Okay, we're good. All right. Perfect. Because I'm using a different microphone. I'm not in my element. I'm not in my home element. I'm actually in a WeWork in Medellin, Colombia right now. So I don't know what's going to work with the sound, how the sound flows and everything else. All right. So here I'm going to read some of this article. And I'm going to break this down for you real quick so we can kind of be reminded of some of these important issues that are happening in our society. So it says here, last week, Ed Orgeron, I sound almost like Oregon, secured the biggest win of his coaching career with a road victory over rival Alabama. Wait, this isn't right. Sorry, oops, scratch that. Let me go back. Hard work really does pay off, especially if you're part of the LSU coaching staff. With an incredible season remaining undefeated, winning the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and advancing to the college football national playoff game, the coaches will be making big deposits. The coaching staff will receive $1.42 million in bonus checks after beating Oklahoma. Coach O alone could earn $1.7 million in bonuses if the Tigers win the national championship. So the coach is going to get $1.7 million. The assistant coaches are going to split up, or they're going to chop up $1.4 million. And that's pretty much what it is. And let's keep going. Coach O has earned $500,000 just from the regular season, $200,000 for the SEC championship game, $225,000 for reaching the college football players semifinals, and $150,000 for winning the Peach Bowl. If the Tigers win the national championship, Coach O will earn $500,000 alone for that one game. The entire coaching staff will earn incentive bonus checks totaling $2.1 million when the Tigers win the championship. Now, I want you to answer this in one word. How much of that 1.42 million, or sorry, that 2.1 million, sorry, I'm getting my numbers off. What's a couple million between friends, right? How much of that 2.1 million did they say is going into the hands of the people who actually went onto the field and played the game? How much of that 2.1 million? See, because they said hard work pays off. That's what white folks always tell us. You know, you gotta work hard. You work hard, and hard work will pay off. It'll pay off by golly, right? So hard work pays off. Last I checked, it ain't easy being a college football player. Last I checked, college football players work the hardest of all. Last I checked, college football players were the ones out on the field taking body blows that are going to put them on crutches by the age of 35 and possibly give them brain damage. Most of them probably already have brain damage. In case you didn't know, this is a warning for you parents that are getting your sons deep into football. I'm not telling you not to do it. I just want you to be aware of this. Studies show that by the time you're done playing high school football, you've already got some brain damage. College football is another level up. Because you can't tell me some of those guys ain't taking some performance enhancing steroids. So they're coming at your baby with some guy that's 350 pounds who runs the 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds. That's like a train wreck. Your child is literally going to be having car crashes over and over every time he gets hit, especially if he plays a highly physical position like running back or nose guard or something like that, center or defensive end or whatever. Right? I just want to make sure you're just clear on that, okay? Not telling you not to play football, I'm just letting you know. So these guys are going on the field. They're busting their asses, working harder than the coaches. They are putting their lives on the line. Players have died on the football field. They have gotten paralyzed from the neck down. If you've ever seen a story like this, it's very tragic. I went to go see a young brother in Chicago who was a high school football star, who was paralyzed from the neck down at the age of 17. Can you imagine? I want you to empathize real quick and imagine this. Think about all the amazing things that you've done in your life since you were 17. Think about all the great experiences you've had, the fun you might have had in college, the great sex you might have had in your life, all the ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends, and you ain't got to tell nobody. I know I can read your mind, right? I want you to think about all the things all the life you've lived since 17 years old. And imagine if all that was wiped out by being paralyzed, having to he lived from age 17 to age 31, paralyzed from the neck down. And when I saw him, he couldn't even move his head enough to eat. His mama was the only person that stood by him all those years. When he got paralyzed, that high school, that everybody was so sad and everybody was praying for him when he got injured and holding hands and everybody clapped when they hauled him off even though he couldn't move his body and they said, we're going to take care of you. We're going to be there for you. We're going to, anything you need, we'll pay his medical expenses for the rest of his life. Well, that's because you know why they said that? Why they told him that lie? It turned out to be a complete lie. You know why the school told him that lie? They told him that lie because they thought that his life was only going to last about 5 more years. They expected him to be dead by the age of 23. Instead, because he's got this special melanin that we're just black people have superpowers, this young brother lived until the age of 31. And what happened was his insurance had a little tiny fine print line that they slide in and it says, we'll pay all your expenses up until this amount. And when they hit that amount, they cut him off. All those people that were cheering for him in the stands didn't give a shit. That school that put him on the field and had him risk his life didn't answer his mother's calls. So what I'm just trying to tell you is that when these brothers step out on the field, when I say they're risking their lives, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being overly dramatic. I'm being honest. Sometimes honesty is the most serious type of drama. I don't have to add drama to this for you to understand and to feel this family's pain. And they're not the only ones. It's happened many, many times. So I go back to LSU. LSU, these guys are out here taking major hits. They're not taking high school hits. This guy got paralyzed on a high school hit. These guys are taking major college football hits from guys that are going to be first-round draft picks in the NFL. These are the hits that they're taking. So they're putting their lives on the line. And when the bonus checks come out and everybody's getting paid for their hard work, the coaches are walking away with $2.1 million extra dollars, and the players get no cash at all. Sure, they get a scholarship, but shit, I could offer everybody in this room a scholarship if I wanted to. It'd be easy. Like, if I have a university and I just say, oh, sure, I got 50 people in the room, you can sit 20 more people in the back, right? You know, that has value, right? No, that's not the same as me giving you actual money. So a $100,000 scholarship is not worth $100,000. Let's just be clear about that. It does not cost anybody $100,000. That's imaginary money for the most part. So at the end of the day, these coaches are making money that belongs to the players and their families. At the end of the day, it makes no sense whatsoever that you got coaches that are flying to the games on private jets and star players whose mothers can't even come to the game because they can't afford a bus ticket. It makes no sense that you have coaches that are living in $10 million houses and players who have family members that are living in the projects. That if you don't understand that that is a racial issue, as much as it is, it's 3 issues. It's a financial issue in terms of labor rights. The players deserve labor rights. You know, everybody else, I heard many coaches. Remember, I've taught on college campuses for 25 years. I taught at University of Kentucky, Syracuse University, the Ohio State University. I've been at schools that have big-time basketball programs and big-time football programs. And the thing is, you don't go to programs like that with your sports being an extra. That's all bullshit. There's nothing extracurricular about being a college football player. I had a player, when I was at Syracuse University, I got into an argument with a coach one time because there was a quarterback that was in my class. And the first week, I get this email from some guy I don't know, and he says, Professor Watkins, so-and-so is going to have to miss your class for the first week because he's got a big game that we're playing out in Utah, and we have to fly out there to get prepared for the game. And I'm like, what the fuck the hell? I'm sorry. I'm like, what does that have to do with me? And what does that have to do with his class? You know, you told me that sports is supposed to be extracurricular. If it's extracurricular, then why isn't he playing football games on the weekends? Why isn't he fitting his football schedule into his academic schedule? Why must the academic schedule fit into his football schedule? And I said, next time he has a class he has to meet, I need him to email me directly like the other students. I don't want to hear from his representative. And then I said, also, you ought to be ashamed of the fact that you're keeping this young man from getting an education, because anybody who misses an entire week of my class is probably going to fail. So you're setting him up for failure. You're using him and setting him up for failure. Now, needless to say, they did what any coaching staff would do. They told their players to avoid my class. So a lot of the black players are like, yeah, I want to learn from the one black guy that they decided to hire out of 1,000. But the coaches are like, oh, no, don't take his class. He's going to challenge you intellectually. Because they don't want the black man to be challenged intellectually. They only want you to develop your athletic ability. They don't want you to be smart. They want you to be a big, dumb ass jock. That's what they want you to be. They want to use you up, chew you up, and spit you out as soon as the money stops flowing. And the money is usually flowing in one direction. It's never flowing into your community. It's never flowing into your family. It's never flowing back to your hood. It's flowing out to the suburbs. And black people, if you want to know why black people struggle in terms of wealth, if you want to know why black wealth, give me a yes or no. Has anybody seen the stat? I want to make sure we all know about the stat. Has anybody seen the stat that says black wealth is expected to drop to zero by 2053? Yes or no? Has anybody seen the stat that says black wealth, median black wealth, is expected to drop to zero by 2053? Has anybody seen that? Give me a yes or no if you've seen this. I want to make sure we're on the same page. Well, there's a stat that says black wealth is expected to drop to zero by 2053. Wealth does not just disappear and go into outer space. Wealth gets transferred. Wealth gets moved around. Black people are not people without wealth. Your wealth comes from your natural resources. One of your most valuable natural resources is the tremendous athletic ability of your young black men and women as well. Right? The natural athletic ability of the black community is a multi-trillion-dollar commodity, and they come and they scrape it out of the ground and steal it no differently from the way the Chinese go and steal all the wealth out of Africa. The same way the Germans went and set up a castle on the Gold Coast so they could suck out all the slaves, and the British did it and the Dutch did it, and they're sucking out the slaves and the gold and the minerals and the diamonds and the oil. They're taking all this out of your community. So you might think that you ain't got nothing to do with Africa, but this white supremacy thing is a global phenomenon. They are doing the same thing in your neighborhood that they're doing over in South Africa. They're doing the same thing in your community that they're doing in Mozambique and Angola and in Ghana and in Tanzania. They're coming to your neighborhoods and sucking your resources out like leeches. And then you wonder why your wealth is dropping to zero. How in the hell is your wealth dropping to zero when so many people are getting rich off of your natural resources? So this is not just an economic thing. There's certainly a conversation to be had about labor rights here. Athletes deserve labor rights. That's a no-brainer. This isn't just a conversation about education. Your young black men are having their education stolen by athletic departments. They go to University of Kentucky, where I used to teach, and they don't want to sit around and talk all day about what you're going to do in math class. They're going to talk to you all day about what's going to happen on the basketball court. This is more than just a financial conversation, more than just an educational conversation. This is also a racial conversation. This is black exploitation at its finest. Anybody who participates in this system, it may not be your fault that the system is what it is, but your mere participation makes you not much different from a Nazi who says, I was only following Hitler's orders. I was only part of a system. I couldn't change anything. I just did what I was told. Well, you know what? You're still a thief too. You're still stealing from the black community too. So don't act like you have nothing to do with it. Because we know at the end of the day, in fact, let me just back up here. Back up and ask you a yes or no question. See where you guys are at on this. Do you think that athletes who do all the work deserve some percentage of the money that's being made? Do you think athletes deserve any of the money that's being made on the field? Do you think athletes and their families that, they're single mothers sitting at home who can barely pay the rent, do you think that maybe they deserve maybe at least 10, 20, 30% of the money? You think they deserve some of it? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. And I'm hoping I can convince you that the answer is yes. And I'm really speaking as a college professor, because remember, I taught at school, not just universities. I taught at universities that have big time athletic programs. University of Kentucky has a big time basketball program. Indiana University has a big time basketball and football program. Ohio State has a big time football program. Syracuse has a big time basketball program and a mediocre football program, right? So these are schools, and so I saw these things up close as a graduate student and as a faculty member, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And the reason that the NCAA considers people like me to be their worst nightmare, the NCAA has never, I've debated on this issue many times. I've been on television talking about this 1,000 times. And the NCAA never sends a representative to debate with me. They always say something on CNN. They would always say, well, we reached out to the NCAA to see if they had anyone that wanted to take the opposing point of view, and they didn't send anybody, or we didn't get a response. So why would you not respond to CNN? CNN called, you should probably pick up the phone, right? Well, the reason they didn't respond is because they know that what they're doing is wrong. And also, people like me are their worst nightmare. The worst nightmare of a white supremacist is not a thug carrying a gun. It's not some famous black man who makes money telling jokes. It's the biggest nightmare of a white supremacist is an intelligent black man who is not afraid to speak the truth. An intelligent black man who knows the truth and is not afraid to speak it. So the reason that I was the NCAA's worst nightmare is because I have a PhD in finance, so I know exactly where the money is. So you can't lay out stupid financial arguments and get them past me. I'm going to catch all of that. They throwing pitches 90 miles an hour across the plate. I'm like, ooh, got that. Knock them out the park. Oh yeah, oh I got that. Oh, that's a good one. That's a curveball. Wow. And I'm knocking them out the park because I'm smarter than them when it comes to the money. So I know where the money's at. Stop bullshitting me. Don't tell me that they don't have the money to pay the athletes, because you always find the money to pay the coaches, right? So then they come in with the educational argument. Well, our student athletes, they get a free education, a free scholarship. Well, guess what? I was a college professor 25 years, so I know the educational system inside out, upside down, and backwards. I've had tons of athletes in my class, and I know that when it comes to the educational process, they are getting fucked, like royally bent over, no Vaseline, like literally shoving a baseball bat up the butt type screwed when it comes to education. They are not getting educated. That's why you got guys that graduate from the University of Tennessee who can't even spell the word Tennessee. Like, I'm not kidding. You got guys graduated out of Mississippi who can't spell Mississippi without singing it. M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, hump. Right? They can't spell the name of the school that they went to. And you're giving them college degrees, right? So, and then the last piece that really scares the shit out of them is the fact that I'm black. And I'm not afraid of being black, and I love being black, and I love representing black people. So, so what the NCAA did was they had me on this special back. It was a few years ago, more than a decade ago. It was a CBS sports special right before the Final Four, one of their highest rated sporting events in the world. Like, pro sports makes big money, but it ain't got shit on March Madness. March Madness is where the biggest money's made when it comes to sports. Super Bowl's one game, right? That's a big deal. March Madness is tons of games over several weeks, right? So the amount of money March Madness makes kind of dwarfs everything else. And right before the Final Four, they did this special, and they called me in my office when I was back at Syracuse University. They said, Dr. Watkins, we'd like to have you on a CBS special we're going to do, and it's called Should College Athletes Be Paid? And my thought is like, why would you want to do that? Like, that would be stupid. Why would you want to talk about that issue? Because you're wrong. Like, why would you even lay that out on the floor for debate? And they say, well, because we want to get to the bottom of the issue. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I participated, right? And then I saw the game. Remember, I told you media is a game. Media is a hustle. Racist media has an agenda, has a strategy. Just like when I was breaking down the stuff that was going on during the whole Lizzo controversy last week. Again, think about this. 100 different media outlets had something to say about me, but not one of these media outlets actually called me for a comment. None of them called me for an interview. None of them called me to explain my remarks, right? They just took their interpretation. Oh, angry black man, let's smear and do whatever. And that's what they did. And it didn't bother me because I know how media works, right? And Malcolm warned you about this a long time ago about what media does to black men. I don't expect as a black man to ever be fairly portrayed in white media. And if I ever start getting too fairly portrayed and too accurately portrayed, you should probably be a little bit concerned that maybe I've been bought off. I'm just gonna tell you that seriously. Like most black men that are portrayed in a positive light consistently in media, usually it's because they're either non-threatening, because they're a comedian or an actor, or a weak-ass politician like a Barack Obama, or it's because they're basically supporting a white supremacist agenda. And I don't mean to diss Barack Obama. I know that hurts some of y'all's feelings, so I'm gonna take that back for a minute because I don't want to get into all of that. So anyway, so we did this special, and I went on the special. Now I talked to them for about an hour and a half. But what they do is they'll have you talk for an hour and a half, and they'll use literally 60 seconds approximately of pieces of what you said, right? Less than a minute. And so what they did was it was great. It was beautiful. I mean, if I was into some propaganda, like I would probably have done the same thing. So what they did was they would take a little sliver of me saying something, right? They find me and they would be totally out of context and it would make me seem crazy. And I'd say, well, of course athletes should be paid. Why? Who wouldn't pay? Why shouldn't people be paid for their labor? Then what they would do is they would, after I made my comment, they would put 4 people behind me who disagreed with me. Right? And usually the first 2 people they put up behind me were black men. Right? So they see the racial angle. They see the racism in all of this, right? People act like, oh, we're colorblind. No, there's no such thing as being colorblind. Race is the first thing that they see because you live in a racialized country. So they would put the 2 black men, and one of them was a guy named Lynn Elmore, who used to be on CBS Sports. If you're a sports fan, you probably know his name. Another was a guy named Clark Kellogg, who actually graduated from Ohio State like me. And then they would throw on like Coach Mike Krzyzewski, and I don't know, it wasn't Dick Vitale, but it was Billy Packer, a guy named Billy Packer. So here's what would happen. So I would say, well, of course the athletes should be paid. And then the black guy would say, well, there's not enough money. How can you pay the athletes? The schools don't make a profit. And then the next guy would say, paying the athletes would be too complicated. I mean, it would just be confusing. How can we figure it out? Now, mind you, they're never too confused to figure out how to pay the coaches, right? That's easy. They solve that equation very quickly. But when it comes to figuring out how to pay the players a little extra money, they're like, oh my God, it's just so complex. What are we going to do? We don't have the money, right? And so literally I said, oh, I get it. Now I know why you had this debate. It was no different from, doing like the Michael Jackson documentary, right? Where every single person who speaks pretty much leans in the same direction. And here's another fascinating point that really gives away just how sensitive they are and how biased they are in their argument, because they know that eventually the world's going to pick them up on their BS. Every single person on that documentary, did you know every single person on the documentary, except for me, was making money, had made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars off of the unpaid college athletes? Now let me say that again. Every single person on that documentary, except for me, Clark Kellogg, Lynn Elmore, Mike Krzyzewski, Billy Packer, and whoever else was on there, every single one of the people on the documentary, if I recall, was making money from the athletes not being paid. So think about this. If you're making money from athletes not being paid, why would you want to share that money? And also, it's almost hilarious that you think you're going to get an unbiased opinion from people that are benefiting from a corrupt system in the first place. That's crazy. That's like asking the pimps if the prostitutes deserve to be free or to get more money. Like the pimps are always going to come up with a reason that they can't pay the hoes no more than they already paid them. Like seriously, like, well, these bitches cost money. And like seriously, I mean, it was the craziest thing. So here's the point. Here's what I'm getting at right here. I think black folks should pay attention to this issue. This is a racial issue. This is stealing billions of dollars. About $1 billion a year comes out of the black community that is stolen by the NCAA. This is where a lot of your black wealth is going. I've told you guys, when we talk about the black wealth equation, we can't just talk about black wealth being low. We have to figure out, well, why is it low? Not how did it get low, right? That's the one issue, right? How did it get low in the first place? Okay, well, that means we got to go in the past. We got to look at slavery. We got to look at Jim Crow. We got to look at redlining. We got to look at, mass incarceration. We got to look at the past, right? That's how you find out how it got low. But that doesn't always explain why it remains low. Right? Which is a tough conversation as well about wealth extraction. Like, where is the wealth going? When we get 1.3 trillion in spending power, what are we doing with this money? Right? It also speaks to you. It comes back to us as black people. What are we doing with our money? Are we investing, or are we giving our money away? Well, wealth has to be grown the same way you grow a flower. If you plant no seeds, then you will have no harvest. If you don't plant any flowers, then why would you expect flowers to grow? So wealth is like a flower. If you're not planting anything, then don't expect anything to grow. Do you follow what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? I hope this makes sense to you guys. So the NCAA is one of the villains in the whole black wealth conversation, and one of the people that needs to be dealt with in terms of what they're stealing from the community. And believe me, every other community gets that. Every other community gets on code and says, no, you're not going to carjack us in broad daylight anymore. We're going to come for that ass. Okay. So that's my 2 cents on it. That's my belief. And you can feel free to disagree, but if you disagree, just come with facts and data. Don't come with emotion, or I'm not going to be able to hear you. I want to hear data and facts that prove me wrong. So anyway, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button, the share button, subscribe button. Subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. And also, I want to shout out a company that is actually sponsoring this podcast. And that company, and I have the information here, it's Illuminate Life Cosmetics, illuminatelifecosmetics.com. It's spelled ILLUMINATE, illuminatelifecosmetics.com. And basically they create organic, vegan cosmetic products that will not only enhance your makeup, but will improve your skin. We utilize the healing and rejuvenating properties from nature to ensure a formula that is beneficial and gentle to the skin. So if you guys could do this for me, please show mad support to the companies that step forward, to the black-owned businesses that step forward to help black, intelligent black media to grow. Go to Illuminate Life Cosmetics and just check out the page, maybe buy something from them, do a little cash mob, let them know that you were there, because we actually want to support black businesses and create a reciprocal relationship. The reason that NBC and ABC and CBS can exist and grow is because they've got businesses in the white community that will fund their content, that fund those networks and help those networks move, but they also help the businesses by promoting their products. So basically, these are our black-owned businesses. This is our version of what Procter & Gamble might do with CBS. But we need black-owned businesses to partner with because we have a black agenda. Okay, so the company's called IlluminateLifeCosmetics.com. You can feel free to check that out. And also our Black Money calendar for 2020 is almost done. It should be ready in the next couple of days. So if you want to get our Black Money calendar that you can put on your wall, and it has black financial concepts and stuff like that, you can just go to theblackmoneycalendar.com. THE, that's theblackmoneycalendar.com. So feel free to get a calendar for you and your kids. It doesn't just have the dates on it. Every month I actually have a set of financial principles that you can apply for that month, and it's a great way to incorporate financial literacy into the culture of your household. So before we go, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe, and thank you guys for hearing me out. And I'm about to bounce out of here, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Have a great day. Be good. Peace.